I still remember the way the front door creaked when I came home that night. It was almost midnight, the kind of hour when silence feels heavier, like the walls are listening. My heels clicked against the wooden floor, echoing through the hallway before I even saw him. Daniel was sitting on the couch, the TV muted, a half-finished glass of whiskey in his hand. The soft blue glow from the screen painted his face pale, but his eyes, those dark, steady eyes, were wide awake. "You're late," he said quietly. Not accusing, just observing. That was worse. I could have handled anger. Anger was familiar. This quiet restraint, it made my heart twist. I smiled, pretending nothing was wrong. The party ran late. You know how it is. Music, drinks, catching up with everyone. But he didn't smile back. He just looked at me, and I swear for a moment, I thought he already knew. I had gone to that party with a very specific intention, one I'd been wrestling with for months. It wasn't spontaneous. It was deliberate. I told myself I just wanted to feel something again, something that reminded me I was still alive, still desired. Daniel hadn't touched me in weeks. Conversations had become transactions. We were two people sharing a house, not a life. So when my friend Mia invited me to a party, just a few couples and some single friends, no big deal, I said yes without hesitation. I told Daniel it was girls only, and he didn't even question it. That indifference hurt more than any argument could have. At the party, I felt like I had stepped into another version of my life, one where people laughed easily, where eyes lingered, where compliments came unfiltered. A man named Chris started talking to me. Confident, tall, that effortless charm that used to make me blush. We talked for hours. Music, travel, love, marriage, and how easily all of it fades. He made me feel seen. It wasn't about wanting him. Not really. It was about wanting me, the woman I used to be before the silence, before the distance. But that kind of logic only works until the guilt starts whispering. By the time I got home, that whisper had turned into a scream. Daniel still hadn't moved. "How is it?" he asked, finally putting the glass down. "It was fine," I said, trying to sound casual as I kicked off my shoes. "Fine," he repeated. His voice was calm, but the way he said that word made my skin prickle. "Did you have fun being with other men?" My breath caught. "What?" He leaned forward slightly, elbows resting on his knees. I said, "Did you have fun being with other men?" My heart started pounding. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't angry. He sounded hurt, and somehow that was worse. "Daniel, I don't know what you're talking about." He sighed and reached for his phone, scrolling for a moment before turning the screen toward me. A picture me laughing with Chris, his hand on my arm. Someone had posted it to social media. Nothing scandalous, nothing incriminating, but intimate enough for a husband to feel the difference. "It's just a picture," I said quickly. "You're reading too much into it." His eyes softened, but his voice was low. "No, Emily, I'm not reading enough into it, because I can tell something's been gone for a while now. I just didn't want to believe it. That broke something in me. Not guilt, shame. The kind that crawls under your skin and stays there." I wanted to tell him it wasn't about another man. It was about us, about the emptiness that had grown between us like a quiet disease. But I couldn't find the words. I just stood there speechless, feeling the weight of everything I had chosen. After a long pause, he stood up, walked past me, and stopped at the doorway. "I hope it was worth it," he said softly. Then he went upstairs, leaving me alone in the living room with nothing but the hum of the TV and the faint smell of whiskey. And for the first time, I realized that maybe it wasn't him who had stopped trying. It was me. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch until sunrise, staring at the empty glass Daniel had left behind. Every creak of the house felt like an accusation. I thought about going upstairs, waking him, trying to explain. But explain what? That I wanted attention. That I wanted to feel something he hadn't given me in months. None of it sounded like love. It all sounded like excuses. By morning, he was gone. His car wasn't in the driveway. The coffee pot was still warm. A quiet reminder that he had been here thinking, deciding. I checked my phone. Nothing, no message, no call, just the photo. Me laughing with another man. circulating quietly among a group of friends who would now whisper about what kind of wife I was. Around noon, he texted, "Don't worry, I just needed space. I'll be home tonight." Those words gave me relief for about a second, then dread. Space, the one thing we had too much of already. When he returned that evening, the air between us felt heavy, charged. He didn't look angry. He looked resolved, like a man who had finally made peace with something painful. He walked into the kitchen, grabbed a bottle of water, then turned to me. "Do you love me, Emily?" The question caught me off guard. It wasn't said in bitterness. It was said with sincerity, almost sadness. "Of course I do," I said, the words tumbling out faster than I meant. "You're my husband," he nodded slowly. "Then why did you go there?" I opened my mouth, then closed it again. How could I explain that I didn't go there to find someone else? I went there to find the version of myself I lost in our quiet marriage. But the truth sounded hollow even in my head. I just wanted to feel alive again. I finally whispered, his jaw clenched. "And you couldn't feel alive here with me?" That question hurt more than anything he could have accused me of, because the answer wasn't simple. Somewhere along the line, we both stopped reaching. We got comfortable in the distance, numb and routine. But I was the one who crossed the line trying to fix it in all the wrong ways. He sighed and leaned against the counter. "You know what's funny? I kept thinking I was the one who failed you. That maybe I wasn't enough anymore. But now I see it wasn't about enough. It was about you wanting different." I felt tears building. "That's not fair, Daniel." "Maybe not," he said softly. "But neither was what you did." He turned away, started walking toward the hallway. Panic rose in my throat. "Please don't leave," I said. He stopped. "I'm not leaving, but things are going to be different now." He walked upstairs again, and this time I didn't follow. I sat down at the kitchen table, staring at the cracks in the wood, remembering the nights we used to sit there laughing over burnt pasta and bad movies. How far we had fallen from that. Over the next few weeks, the silence between us became something else. Not avoidance, but distance with boundaries. He still came home. We still talked about bills, errands, the day, but his eyes didn't linger the way they used to. His laughter came slower, quieter, and when he said goodnight, it felt final. One evening, I found him sitting in the living room again, scrolling through his phone. I stood at the doorway, hesitant. "Can we talk?" I asked. He nodded, but didn't look up. "I've been thinking," I said, voice trembling, "about that night and about us. I know. Sorry isn't enough, but I need to say it anyway." He finally looked up, calm, unreadable. "You don't owe me words, Emily. You owe yourself honesty." That hit deeper than I expected, he continued. "You went to that party because something inside you is already gone. I can't rebuild something if the foundation's not there anymore. I want to fix it," I whispered. He shook his head gently. "Sometimes fixing it means letting go." Those words stayed with me long after he left the room. A month later, Daniel moved out. Not in anger, but with quiet finality. No slammed doors, no fights. Just a note on the counter. "I hope you find whatever it is you're still searching for." I read that note every day for weeks until the guilt turned into clarity. I had wanted to feel alive again, but in chasing that, I'd killed something real. Now, when I walk past the mirror, I barely recognize the woman staring back. She got what she wanted to feel something, but the cost was everything she didn't realize she already had. And every time I hear a door creak at night, I still half expect Daniel to be sitting there in the blue light waiting. But the couch is always empty, because this time he didn't stop trying. If this story resonated with you, please leave a comment below sharing what part of the tale moved you the most. And be sure to subscribe to the Echo Tales YouTube channel for more incredible true stories.